Hey y'all, so this will be a continuation of the custom path build out. The last session we did a small aside on just learning about dynamic components, and so this session is a continuation of that one, and we'll be utilizing our learnings and incorporating that into our custom path. That in a separate file here. I don't want to litter the main file, which is already too big, by the way, with any of this mapping information. So we could call this components by stage.js. So we could export a const called component by stage. And yeah, look at that. It knows exactly which components I already have and figures out the stage, but these are not the correct names. This will be op closed. Okay, pretty close. And then I could go ahead and import. Okay, there we go. That should be fine. So I could have a component up here, right? Maybe this should be dynamic component. Rendered component. Stage component. Yeah, maybe stage component. So this will be set stage component. This will be async. This will be set stage component. I have, this will be const component name. If not component name, then just return for now. Otherwise, yes, but not exactly, right? So again, we have this thing here, const default component import. Yes. Set stage component. Of course, this is async. Just wait, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure if I need this, but what is this? Dynamic imports are not allowed. Because I need to set the capability in here. So just to make sure that this will work, let's get rid of this, save, make sure that nothing happens in here now. Great. And then I will use that LWC component syntax. LWC component. Perfect. And I do need to pass in the record ID for each of these. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Why? I thought we were good. I am setting the stage component. Again, the component name. And let's see. I guess this one has a C in here. Yeah, I think the C should be in here in case there's some, namespace component that we may need. Like probably a near zero chance that that will happen. But all right, let's get rid of these completely. Yay! 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 Amazing. Okay, so I was able to replace all of this with just a one-liner, and obviously we need to move that mapping over to a file of some sort, or it could be a custom metadata type, however you want to store it, but I just have it in here, and it works. So one thing that if you have a keen eye, what you notice is when I first render this, now if we go to prospecting, it's fine. Now if I go to qualification, you saw how it went back to prospecting even though we're now in the qualification stage. And if I click it again, it's fine. Again, closed, it went back to prospecting even though the closed child component shows up. But then if you go back, then you see that it sticks. The focus step does stick. So only upon first render of these components is it setting it back to prospecting. And the reason for that, it took me a long time to figure this out. The reason for that is when these components are first rendered, it re-renders this whole component. And when it re-renders that, it loses where that focus step is. And there's nothing I could do about it. The way that is currently implemented is because that focus step is not saved in the state of the component anywhere. So, just to review, the base path implementation of this is using Lightning Progress Indicator. You can set the current step, right? Which is, this would be the current step. If I set the current step here, this thing will turn green. What I can't set is the focused step, which is what I had in my opportunity path. So whenever the component re-renders, that state, that part of the state of the component is just completely lost. So thing is, after bashing my head on the ground with this for a while, I realized that we can prevent this part from re-rendering if we stick this into a child component. If we do that, then only the child component re-renders. This thing is untouched. So let's go ahead and do that. Upstage dynamic component. And I guess before we do that, let's actually commit some changes here. Ooh, we need this on record update. Let's get rid of this. If you notice, we do get these red squiggly lines, but supposedly this is just a VS Code thing. This should not happen. This should be fixed in a subsequent release with dynamic component feature. Okay. One other thing I could do here is I could get rid of a lot of these getters since these are no longer necessary. This is done, and this is no longer needed. Getters. And what do I want to do here? I sort of want to take this guy, stick it into the HTML here. And I guess I could remove the capability here since I no longer need it. I need to pass the stage, right? So stage name equals all the dynamic components that we have should have a record update event that's emitting, and we will need to pass that up to the base path. Alright, so now focus step is no longer a private variable, so let's just promote it up. And we still have our dynamic import in here. And so I could just cut this out, stick it in here. And the things I need to set in here are focus step or stage name, record ID. The stage name here, whenever it changes, stage name. I could import component by stage. I guess I should move this. So this guy will be moved over to here. Move. Yes. And then here I could do the import. Alright, so whenever stage name changes, this function should get called. Alright, we have a set stage component in here probably. Set stage. Okay. Let's get rid of these. We don't need these anymore. This is no longer async. Nothing is happening. So let's just do an API get stage name, set stage name value. I guess this is the way. So this will be underscore stage name. This will be underscore stage name. Okay, there we go. There we go. Boom, boom. And boom, and we see that it does not get reset to prospecting upon rendering. So this all works. Wonderful, except for this. I guess we can also get rid of this. We should probably have some default component that shows up here if there is no special dynamic one. So if there is no component name, then I do a return. Well, before I do that, I could just set that to null. Get has dynamic component. Turn does not have a dynamic component. No dynamic component found. No dynamic component. Has no dynamic component. Okay, I don't like the fact that it sort of flashes like that. And again, it does take some time for the component to render. Right, this is processing, right? Div LWC if it's processing. I guess it should just have a spinner. And I think loading is probably better. And then I could have a div LWC else. And then we'll add is loading here. And then this dot is loading is equal to true. I guess I only need it here. And this dot is loading is equal to false. Okay, I guess that's better. This probably needs to a class here is relative. Other than that, I think I should be committing here child component. Let's just try this again. Okay. I think one thing I do need is a little bit of I need a little bit of height to this. Spinner container min height. Sure. Okay, that looks good. Perfect. And that spinner is a little bit too small. Let's just have the size to medium. So let's go ahead and commit this container. I think this is pretty cool. Maybe later on we can work on some other stuff, such as, that default component, but we do have the framework here to do it. Basically here. If there is no dynamic component, then I had this, but we could definitely build this one out. Otherwise, we're going to show this. And maybe like a default component would be something very similar to the existing out of the box path where you could have stage coaching, and we can maybe hook into that if it's possible. If not, then we could create our own custom metadata type based on record type and stage, and sort of say, hey, we want these fields here, and we could also have like some blurb on what to do for that stage, as it does in the regular coaching. So I think I'm gonna stop here. So yeah, I think we may continue the series at some point, but I think I'm gonna move on to something new. Uh, Thank you all for following along with me. If you do have any additional ideas or things that you would like to see me build from scratch, let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.